Before we start our service this morning, we'd like you to greet your neighbors with a wave, and we're going to start with those on Zoom. If you can, switch your Zoom view to gallery and wave to each other. Okay, let's see waving. And in a minute, see, they can't necessarily see you yet, and now look at that camera and wave to them. Good morning, all. Welcome to Northwest, a Unitarian Universalist congregation. My name is Diana Kohler. My pronouns are she, her, and I will be leading the service this morning. Today we mark 2 years since our final pre-pandemic service. It is wonderful to be able to welcome some of you back into the sanctuary today and to have so many of you joining us virtually. When we shifted to Zoom services 2 years ago, I think most of us thought, well, it'll be a few weeks, and then we'll be back to normal. How wrong we were. This morning's service is a lay-led recognition of the many losses we have experienced during COVID, collectively and individually, and of the ways we have coped with a challenging time. Our service is the result of a collaboration of many people, including Ken Hermanot, Ben Gable, Eva Leventer, Alex Myers, our choir, and it is based on an idea presented by Mary Mueller. Also participating in the service this morning are Oliver Kinnan, Jim Moyer, Susie Kinnan as our Zoom host. Alex and Ken Hermanot are managing the video, and we have five choir members: Julie Bodson, Ken Hermanot, Susie Kinnan, Paul McDougall, and Mike Yanko doing readings this morning. Ralph Brugert is ushering with the assistance of Olivia and Liam Armitage. Our service is going to center around a ritual focused on our losses and how we have coped, both as individuals and as a community. If you're a visitor here and would like to stay in touch with us, if you're virtual, please fill out the form you see in the chat box. And if you're here in the sanctuary, there is a greeters table where you can fill out a form in person. The chat feature has been disabled for the first part of the service, except for chatting directly with the tech host. If you are having problems with Zoom, please use the chat function or the raise hand function in Zoom, and if all else fails, wildly wave your hand. We encourage to add your pronouns on Zoom by clicking at the participants button at the top of the Zoom window, hovering your mouse over your name in the participants list on the right side of the Zoom screen, and click on rename. We have a few announcements because this is Northwest, right? We will be having a congregational conversation after the service. Please stay in the main session if you're on Zoom, or in the sanctuary after the service if you want to participate in that. If you are in the service today physically, you can go out into the atrium if you don't want to participate in that. And then we will have some breakout rooms available after the congregational conversation if you want to talk about the service today. Our Northwest Talent Show will be Zoom only. It's taking place this Friday evening at 7 o'clock. Prepare to be amazed, amused, and inspired. We have some RE events coming up. There is a multi-generational hike, play, and picnic at Heritage Park on Saturday, March 19th at 2 o'clock. And we're starting the planning for our first Northwest UU Peace Camp that will take place Monday, August 1st through Thursday, August 4th. Eva can give you details if you'd like. It's time to plan the organizations we're going to support with our shared plate this year. So we have 4 openings in our calendar. If you have an organization you'd like to nominate, please submit it to Jennifer Russell, and we will consider which ones we want to support in the coming year. The Detroit Disability Justice Movement is having a virtual event Thursday, March 24th from 3 to 5. It is exploring the disability justice movement that's taking place right here in the greater Detroit area. There will be an American Sign Language interpreter and an option for closed captioning via Wayne State. If you need pastoral care, please feel free to connect with one of the team members, who include Melanie Deeds, Bruce Fowler, Karen Queck, Eva Leventer, Mary Mueller, Amanda Spurrell, Zena Stewart, and David Young. And if you don't know who to turn to, contact Ben Gable and he will aim you in the right direction. If you need a ride or a meal, Amanda Spurrell has offered to be the contact person coordinating those needs. Our March board meeting will be taking place this Thursday at 7 o'clock. You may attend via Zoom. Ooh, we have First Friday, April Fool's social event coming up on the 1st of April with storytelling about the times that you've been a fool. You can talk to Cheryl Goldberg if you have a story you'd like to admit to. And now we have a recorded message from the
Dear
Canvas.
Northwest member and friends, the 2022 Canvas Committee, which was responsible for securing 75% of the church's annual operating budget, is inviting you to two important upcoming events. Food and fun are real possibilities. Have we got your attention?
First, on Friday, March 11th at 7 o'clock, we have our Night of Talent. This special Zoom event will showcase many of our members. Think of it like a coffee house on caffeine. Everything from Israeli dancing to Persian singing, from bubbles to tubas. And we have a special guest appearance that you will not want to miss. So mark your calendars now for the evening of March 11th and watch for our special invitation and link for this wonderful event.
Second, on Sunday, March 13th at 10:30 a.m., we will kick off our pledge drive. This annual event provides you the opportunity to fund the mission of the church. You'll be able to make your pledge online or in person, whichever is more convenient. During the service, you will learn how important your support is for the future of our church.
Following up with 120 people is a daunting task. So we ask you to please make your pledge within 1 week of March 13th. As a small token of our appreciation to those who pledge by March 19th, we will be drawing names for 4 gift cards of $50 to Buddy's Pizza. Yes, that's right. You can treat the whole family to a Detroit tradition just by pledging quickly.
The 2022 Canvas Committee wants each and every one of you to know that your participation in the life of the church and in our annual pledge drive is really appreciated. You have our gratitude and respect. Please join us on March 11th and March 13th. You won't regret it, and we won't forget it.
And lastly, if you have any questions about the upcoming pledge, please don't hesitate to reach out to Martha Spear or to me, Beata Lamparski. We are the co-chairs this year of the pledge drive, and we'll be happy to help you. Now, please sit back and enjoy a preview of our upcoming talent show. Hit it, Mosin.
This morning will be shared with the Southfield Emergency Needs Fund. If you are online, you will see a variety of ways to give, and we can take it old school. Here in the sanctuary, there is a basket at the front of the church that you can put money in at the end of the service.
We light this chalice, symbol of our purpose, to bring more love and justice into the world. We light this chalice knowing our congregation as a church dispersed across communities, not bound by walls but connected through the web of life.
I just want to remind you in the sanctuary, we are not yet at a level, sadly, where we can sing in the congregation. So feel free to hum along. Thank you, Eva.
Spirit of life and love. We have gathered again out of our separateness to know that we are not alone. In our fears, we are not alone. In our grasping for peace, finding it in the fleeting moments, and losing it again to some turmoil of mind and heart, we are not alone. In our cynical moments, our wanderings, is this all there is? Is this the best we can do? We are not alone. In our pain, we are not alone. And so we dwell in you, Spirit of healing and wholeness, for this brief time, willing to be held here in the immense and eternal love, whose origins we do not know, whose reality is irresistible. It calls us on. It reaches between us to fill spaces. It consoles the grieving and it calms the anxious. It gives new vision to the eyes dimmed by tears and exhaustion, and it opens the ear to deeper truth. It makes a place in the heart as hope. Let us rest in this peace and be held there. Our first hymn today, or our hymn today, is 1002, Comfort Me.
maybe tomorrow. Alba had a big block. She'd been dragging it around for a long time. It made her walk slowly. It made her think darkly. It was heavy. Norris danced everywhere he went, even uphill. One day, Alba was sitting on her block in the park like she usually did. Along came Norris in a cloud of butterflies. At first, Alba couldn't see him in all that shininess. Hello, I'm Norris. Do you want to go on a picnic? I'm Alba. I do not go on picnics. Well, what do you want to do? Sit here on my block. But you're already doing that. I know. Is it fun? Not really, no. What's in it? Norris wanted to know. In it? What do you mean? Well, it's a box, isn't it? Something must be inside it. It's not a box, it's a block. Are you sure? Yes, said Alba, prodding it with her umbrella. She always carried one in case it rained. Norris sat down next to Alba. I feel something in there. What? Said Alba, who didn't feel a thing. Something sad. I think it wants to come out. How? Norris and Alba sat there thinking. The butterflies flitted this way and that. Maybe tomorrow, said Norris as the sun set. Maybe. The next day, it was raining. The butterflies looked a little damp. The weather didn't slow down Norris, though. You're making me dizzy, Alba said. It's time for tea. They had good, quiet tea with rain in it. Maybe tomorrow, said Norris. Maybe, if tomorrow ever comes. Tomorrow didn't come, but another today did. It's really time, said Norris, because I want you to come to the ocean with me. Okay, I'll just take my block. But it's too heavy, right? My butterflies will help you, said Norris. They did help. It was a very, very long journey. Alba and Norris talked and didn't talk. I miss little bird, said Alba as they crested the last hill. She is gone. I miss her too. Alba paused. But you didn't know her. No, but you are my friend, so I can help you miss her. By the time they got to the shore, Norris knew many things about Little Bird. We watched the moon together. She taught me to sing. We were hardly ever apart. She loved you very much, Norris said. Yes, said Alba as the waves crashed. Some of the butterflies started to fly out toward the horizon. Come back, shouted Alba. It's okay. Sometimes we have to let things go. They both sat down to rest on Alba's block, but there wasn't enough room. I think it's smaller and lighter. Definitely, agreed Norris. Together they sat and faced the roaring sea. I'll always have this block, you know. Yes, maybe you will, but I will help you carry it sometimes. The two friends stayed by the ocean until the sun set and the view was calm. Some of the butterflies came back. Some flew off forever. The next day was sunny. Do you want to go on a picnic? Asked Norris. Yes, said Alba. And then they show them at the picnic at the end. A lovely story.
We now will send our children and youth and their teachers from the service to play at community games and join affinity groups in the multi-purpose room. Let's see. And now we will hear our choir send them off with a song. And could I invite Oliver to come up and carry the chalice today? Thank you.
We had a little challenge this morning. We have a Canvas testimonial from Orlando Hodges this morning. And while every member is special, what's especially special about Orlando is that he became a member of this congregation without ever setting foot in the building.
Good morning, Northwest UU family. Why I pledge to this wonderful assembly of individuals who make up this congregation is because of its character and unified beliefs in the 8 principles. More so, because I was touched by an assembly of people from all backgrounds, faiths, and beliefs, from Judaism, Islam, atheists, agnostics, Baptists, Methodists, to Catholics, and so on, coming together to demonstrate a unified belief system in the greater community. Northwest UU is really a community of United Nations. The works that Northwest UU performed during a pandemic inspired me the most. You offered online services and functions in ways that many assemblies could not or simply would not. Listening to joys and sorrows, offering children's programs, meditations, yoga, book clubs, auctions, and still maintaining a collection plate for those in need. Heart-inspiring sermons, music that feeds the soul, and individual committees such as membership, canvassing, social justice, and others that constantly scream, what can we do for the community? The Tri-County area, Southwest Michigan, Southeast Michigan, and the greater Midwest with our resources. This place is about individuals fulfilling their personal mission, couples, families, children, and grandchildren with memories at NWUU that far exceed the roof. It is the people who care that makes me care. It is a magical place with tangible results that create difference and change. I pledge with you today to make our world and the individuals' lives within this world stellar, with unity, equality, freedom, and choice for all.
The video we are about to share is both beautiful and challenging. It reminds us of the many painful things we have experienced or witnessed in the past 2 years. And some of us may just find it too painful to watch. If it is too hard for you, please just close your eyes, listen to the music, and breathe.
Refaenu Adonai v'nerafeh, Hoshienu v'nevashea, El karov l'chol korav, ach karov l'reav isho. We pray for healing of the body. We pray for healing of the soul, for strength of flesh and mind and spirit. We pray to once again be whole and Rifana. Oh, please heal us now. Rifuat ha-nefesh, urifuat ha-guf, rifuat shalema. Heal us now. Heal us now. Heal us now. Heal us now. Hoshia et amecha, uvarech et nechalatecha, uriem v'nasem ad ha'olam. Mi sheberach avotenu, mi sheberach imotenu, Adonai Hoshiana. We pray for healing of our people. We pray for healing of the land and peace for every race.
pandemic you have lived through is probably different than the one I've lived through. The hospital staff who cared for COVID patients without adequate protective gear, the senior citizens isolated at home, the parents thrust into working at home and trying to be productive while becoming their children's tutor, those widowed by COVID, the COVID survivors with long-haul symptoms, all experienced the pandemic differently. The burdens have fallen unevenly. COVID has highlighted the racial, ethnic, and class inequities in our healthcare system. Even though we may not truly understand each other's pandemic experience, we recognize that we all have lost something in these past 2 years. This morning, we are creating space to recognize our losses, remind ourselves to support each other, and turn our minds to the possibility of something better ahead. The ritual we are about to embark on has 3 sections, each asking for congregational responses in the chat function if you're attending virtually, or written down for those in the sanctuary. Is there anybody who doesn't have note cards at this point? Okay. The responses will be read aloud. There is a reading at the end of each section, followed by a sung response from the choir. And that sung response is actually the result of a collaboration between Ken Hermanot and myself. I wrote the words, he wrote the music. We begin with remembering those who have died. Many of us have lost loved ones during the pandemic, whether they died from COVID or other causes. Some died alone. We were not able to be at the bedside to comfort our loved ones in their final days. We lost our traditions of mourning, our ability to gather in person for a funeral or a memorial service, the comfort of sharing a meal with family and friends, and visiting face to face with those who are grieving. At this time, if you are virtual, please use the chat function to share the names of those who have died in the past 2 years in your life. If you are here in the congregation, please fill out one of your cards with names of people that you have lost during the past 2 years, and Ralph will collect them. We're going to begin this process by reading the names of the members of this congregation that have died in the past 2 years. And we're going to start with Susie, and then Jim is going to read more names.
Theda Smith, Alexandria Stevenson, Carter Stevenson, Barbara Thompson,
Bud
Jack,
Felton, Chrissy King, Bill Morse, Ingrid Sherman,
Jeff, Alex Jansen, Linda's uncle, Bud Felton, Bernie Gobeski, and Linda's beloved dog, Freya.
Ray Kohler, Ann Kohler, Mary Richardson, Jackie Cecilia,
Bill Morse of Northwest, Virginia Ledecour, Nicole's aunt, Jerry Swenson, Peggy Fowler's father, my mother, Cheryl Levine.
Don Summers, Daryl Eastburn, Mike Stetler, Jim Atlins,
Johnny Lee Rogers, Elijah Rogers Jr., Chance Stevenson, Seamus Quinn, a longtime friend of Nicole Ledecour.
Chris Brayling, Marvin Surowitz, Aloma, Tom Highhouse,
The Henry's beloved dog, Pepper.
Bud Bergen, Fred Kolish, brother of Dorothy Hamburger, Clara Mueller, Ken Thomas, Carol Sowell, Horatio Donald, Carlene Napier, Linda Hopkins, Jim Block, Randy's younger brother, Theda Smith, Bud Felton, Ingrid Sherman, Irene Wilson, Barbara Thompson, Carter Stevenson, Stuart Packard, Brian Hennessy, Neil Anderson, Janet Oldham, Ralph Youngkin, Gordon Olson, Ellen Peisner, Len Gozinski, John Artis, Jeff Ola, Tom Bruff, Michael Lamara, Jim Dixon, Betty Taberman, Bill Schaefer, Barry Wright, Randy Rumlin, Darius Collins, Pat Cabell, Pauline Celeste, Johnson Norman, Joseph Wright, Sheriff Lee Vance. There may be other names that weren't provided that we also miss. Let's keep that in our hearts.
a blessing for those whose loved one was not perfect. Bless you whose loved one was not perfect. Bless you whose dear departed didn't find the cure to cancer or free the people. Bless you who, when people say you have your memories to comfort you, remain silent and smile anyway. Bless you who knew loss before your loved one died. Bless you who watched your loved one die over time. Bless you who lost your loved one suddenly. Bless you who witnessed the trauma at home or in a hospital. Bless you who cling to the memories of a loved one who was not perfect, because loving them was the greatest gift they gave you. Bless them who will love them always. Bless you in your grief and your loss and your mourning and your heartache. Bless you.
This portion of our ritual is about losing normal. I forgot to warn you that there would likely be tears during this service. We have lost so much because we have not been able to gather in person. This congregation lost the opportunity to say goodbye in person to our beloved minister and director of religious education, and after 9 months of only seeing them on a screen, entered into our time of separation from them on Zoom. It was the best we could do, but it was not the farewell we wanted. Birthday parties, weddings, and other celebrations were canceled. We couldn't find the solace of normal by attending cultural and recreational events. Missing all of these comforts, we witnessed and experienced deepening divisions in our country, identity-based inequities, and environmental disasters. There has been so much to grieve. We invite you now to think about what part of your pre-pandemic life you have missed and grieved for during the past 2 years.
Before moving on, Bruce Fowler wanted to acknowledge the loss of Joanne Henriette. Linda and Jim Gobeski says they miss the hugs of their friends, eating out, movies with family and friends, and vacations. Nicole misses hugs and in-person chats where we don't pay attention to time. Liz Buckner misses being with people every day, and Linda Morris misses her family in Seattle.
Singing, hugging, listening to the choir, group gatherings, NWUU services, Shauna's wedding, Friday breakfast with motorcycle crew, travel.
Two college graduates and coffee hour said to me directly. Oh, 2 college graduations and coffee hour. Jennifer Russell misses my kids being able to be with other children without worry. Kids' activities are very much missed.
Going to theater productions, seeing friends weekly in church, education as it was, working in person, socializing with friends.
I miss seeing the faces of babies and making eye contact and smiling at them.
Gathering with friends and making music, the Wheatland Music Festival, the Magic Rhythm Festival, the Church Coffee House, potluck gatherings.
Molly Gobeski says, my life. Aubrey Russell says he misses coffee hour. And we miss seeing Aubrey at coffee hour.
This one just says normal. We would shrink to my backyard. My major company was my shadow. I'm lonesome. Family reunions, trips, weekly work with colleagues, women's gatherings.
One congregant misses going to the grocery store without fear of catching a disease or getting shot.
Time spent with friends and family, not being with our daughter when her fiance underwent brain surgery on the other side of the country. Live music, live church, live book club, church potlucks, travel, one-on-one with people. Being able to meet in person for various purposes, church, dancing, family, clubs. I miss almost my entire work family. Natural connections, passing by people and saying hi or checking in because we're in the same place. Being able to gather to mark important events in our lives, weddings, funerals, goodbyes, births. The sudden disappearance of close friends and colleagues, a full 2 years now. Fighting off depression and loneliness. The casual banter of coworkers, the teenagers I won't see again. I miss the full choir so much. Keeping singers together is challenging. Missed travel, weddings, funerals, hospital visits. Comfort in public, adjusting to reality that propaganda has left us fractured as a nation, cost countless lives as a result of hostile, prideful actions, and these actions have been normalized and accepted as the cultural climate we are expected to tolerate moving forward as individuals in public spaces. Being unable to do so many things that brought me joy and soothing and fun, music and dancing with friends, concerts, hugs, and most of all, my vision loss. Contact with friends and relatives, months away from grandchildren, live music, movies, restaurants, celebrations with friends, freedom to travel. I miss the full sound of our piano, gathering with loved ones without having to consider whether it's safe. And of course, there's probably many, many more that we couldn't write.
Blessed are the anxious. Sorry that it's so hard. And you're not always wrong that sometimes things fall apart. I should say this is from The Elephant in the Room by Teresa Soto. Things fall apart and end up worse than when we started. Blessed are you when you try. Fear gripping your arms as though it is afraid of losing you, even though what you know is that it's never far away. There is so much unseen labor in managing everything just under the surface. Blessed are you.
Loss isn't the only thing we've experienced during the past 2 years. The pandemic has forced us out of our routines and into new ways of functioning. And this congregation has been so willing to learn new ways to stay connected. We have conducted services, meetings, fundraisers, and even parties on Zoom, and gathered outdoors so we could actually see each other in person. We have called, texted, and emailed each other, and sent each other messages on Facebook to keep us connected. Some of us have actually used the pandemic to learn new skills, start new practices or rituals, find solace in nature, listen to more music, deepen friendships, and take on new causes. Sometimes we have demonstrated resilience simply by getting up in the morning and doing what we must, even though it seemed impossibly hard. This time, we have 2 questions. So the first question is, what changes have you made in your life that have lifted your spirits and helped you through the pandemic? We talked yesterday about the need to establish a, oh, sorry, it's okay. It was just a few. We talked yesterday about the need to establish a zip line between the AV room and the piano for Alex, and he is definitely running back and forth today.
Linda Morris joined the synagogue in Seattle. Bob Holly is continuing to get regular exercise from 60 to 90 minutes per day. Jacob Myers took on more volunteer roles at church. Barbara Wallace knit 60 tiny animals to give to dementia patients.
Pete Sutcliffe, fixing up my home, taking up a new hobby, woodworking, lots of walks in the cathedral of nature, cooking. This is
Ariana, oh, I'm sorry. Ariana is having daily video chats with her mom, cooking healthy meals, and retired. And Linda Morris got a puppy. She thinks that was a good thing, right? Go ahead,
getting
Jim.
takeout food more to support local restaurants, paying down the mortgage with saving money in gas, making more donations to charities with stimulus money, sewing more, learning to appreciate what I have, the beauty of my backyard, a hot shower, a stocked fridge.
Barbara Wallace called friends more often, Kathy Henry started attending an intentions group and just got a puppy on Friday. Nicole Ledecor Jenowitz focus on therapies and online support groups as a priority and sitting with myself in silence. And then there is a third puppy from the Gobeskis. They also got a puppy.
More gardening, baking bread, making yogurt, Zoom crossword, puzzle with a friend.
Nicole also has planted a victory garden for organic vegetables and native plants, and also is appreciating time spent with partner and enjoying each other's company as a gift.
More sex. I'd like to get back to painting, Zoom church meetings, getting a cat, making projects for myself, art, sewing, crafts to fill long days.
Peter Gable also got a dog. And I think that's all that I see in chat for the moment.
So the score now is 3 dogs, 1 cat so far. We'll keep. I did more reading, listened to more music, weekly games on Zoom instead of meeting in person, dancing on Zoom with people from Chicago and around the country, learning many new dances.
So I see that Kathy Watchhorn has adopted 3 cats and her son is finishing his master's. Nicole says making it an adventure to replicate and cook meals from favorite restaurants and taking online classes with people from all over the world. I'd like to add that I started a long-term exercise regimen for the first time in my life and found that the endorphins really help with mood, and it's something that I may have needed for a long time.
Learning how to do so much more to connect and communicate with tech. Gratitude, taking one day at a time. Achieved greater inclusivity in serving my stakeholders at work. Remote access welcomes all. Learning to play music. Spend more time outside. Learned how to create virtual music. I am believing that we will indeed be able to sing together again. I set the table as if for company, even when there's no possibility of company.
Ariana took up the hobby of paper quilling, and Kathy Henry says attending events on Zoom I wouldn't have been able to attend if they were in person.
I teach 5 days a week in a Farmington elementary. The kids and my awesome fellow teachers give me hope every day. This card starts out with part 3. I think I got them a little mixed up, but more cooking from scratch, soap making, wood and metal model making, rock tumbling, MMORPGESO. I assume that's a game. Staying active and future focused. Lots of indoor and outdoor gardening. The little things, sunshine, hugs.
We were going to ask you to write down what you find that gives you reason for hope, but the service has gone long. We had a lot to share with each other this morning. So I am just going to take a little privilege here and say one of the things that gives me reason for hope is the resilience of this community. And I hope that the rest of you this morning, if you stay for a breakout room, will share what gives you hope. And now we have a reading.
Okay, so.
This is also from The Elephant in the Room by Teresa Soto. Blessed are you, the tired ones, who still make room for what may be possible, for joy, for love, and for a future that may, even though we can't be sure of it, be more abundant and full of every possibility of peace. Blessed are you.
Weston. I Will Lift Up My Voice by Robert T. Weston, read by myself, Paul McDougall, Mike Yanko, Ken Hermanot, Julie Bodson, and Susie Kinnan. I will lift up my voice and sing, whatever may befall me. I will still follow the light which kindles song. I will still listen to the music arising out of grief and joy alike.
I will not deny my voice to the song, for in the depth of winter, song, like a bud peeping through the dry crust of earth, brings back memory and creates anew the hope and anticipation of spring.
Out of a world that seems barren of hope, song decries beauty in the shapes of leafless trees, lifts our eyes to distant mountain peaks, which, even if we see them not, remind us that they are there, waiting, and still calling to us to come up higher.
Out of the destruction of dear hopes, out of the agony of heartbreak, song rises once more to whisper to us, and even this is but the stage setting for a new beginning, and that we shall yet take the pieces of our hearts and put them together in a pattern of deeper, truer lights and shades. I will lift up my voice in song.
For in singing, I myself am renewed, and the darkness of night is touched by the promise of a new dawn, for light shall come again.
When I am frightened, you reassure me.
Spirit of life, as we go forth, please bless our bodies, which have carried us so far and still carry us. Give us the power to keep moving forward. Bless our hearts, for they hurt, damaged by the virus, racing from fear, aching for each other. The joy we feel, the love, has grown stronger. May our hearts stay strong and true. Bless us, O Spirit of life, so we may begin to know relief and healing from the trauma wrought in the past 2 years. I see that our service went so long that our chalice extinguished itself.